friends. This is Ben Kono and Tammy. How do you say your last name?
Alola Waring.
Alola
Waring.
Waring. This is Tammy with APM, Executive Property Management. They are the pinnacle of excellence in Jackson when it comes to property management. Tammy has been inside of property management, you said, for 27 years?
But 22.
22 years. 22 years. And she's only 25. So that's really incredible. And we're going to talk a little bit today about what a homeowner can do to maintain their property, especially in light of coming winter. Now that winter is coming, we want to talk about how somebody can be a really great homeowner as winter approaches, as we go through fall, because there's a lot of stuff that happens outside as we go from summer into winter. So Tam's going to talk with us a little bit about that, and then talk a little bit about what EPM does to help people do that. So
great. Okay.
Yeah.
So the typical homeowner, what they're going to want to do is we're changing the season, and we notice now that we're having that strong change of season.
Yeah.
The temperature changed last week. We did have a hard frost, so we're going to start seeing things die off. So as your plants start to dry off, your perennials start to die off, you should get those clipped back just to keep them looking neater. One of the things as we approach fall is you want to start cutting your lawn a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So your final cut should be down around 3 inches tall at the most. Yes. So you want to get that down nice and short, nice and tight to the turf, and that's going to help once we put fertilizers down for the final time this year, and then again in the spring. That will help when we start to do the green up.
Yeah. So is that going to help with? It's not going to hold as much water during the spring, or it's going to help the fertilizer
It's going to help us things get down there. If there's any disease left on the turf, we're getting rid of that final cut there.
Yeah.
So, yep. Just keeps it cleaned up. And that's pretty important to cut that back in the fall.
So if I'm a property owner and I'm mowing my own lawn, will you come out and do the fertilizing still?
Absolutely. We do a final. One of the best applications you could do is our final application of the year, and that's basically it's putting down nutrients that are going to help with your spring green up. So they're there still over winter. We start to green up in the spring, and that's what gives it that initial boost to get it going.
Awesome.
So that's an important application.
I didn't realize that. I just think of everything dying when it comes to winter, not like bringing new life, right? Like that's the life cycle. Everything dies so that new life can come forward, but I don't think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really important application.
Yeah.
Another thing they want to do is make sure you get all your leaves off the lawn. So you don't want to leave leaves matting on the lawn. The leaves matting, it'll just kill off the lawn, kill off that surface, the top grass. So that's really important to get that off.
So if you leave your leaves, you can expect your lawn to leave.
That's a good one.
Okay.
I might use that. I might
deal.
steal that.
Okay, you can have it. It's for free.
Thank you. So another thing to do is one of the things that's fun to do is to change out your seasonal colors. So now that we're going into the fall, start adding mums to your landscape beds. Maybe use some artificial plants in your landscape beds. And create new pots and planters.
Oh, sure.
So it just freshens your look, lets everybody know you're ready for the fall.
Yeah. You said trim back perennials. So I have like trees in my front yard. I have a Japanese maple that is huge and atrocious. Like it's ugly. I like Japanese maples, but this one is just dead and ugly. Is that something that I should plan to trim back right now pretty far? Because it's going to come back and grow a little bit more next year.
Right. It's going to depend on what kind of maple it is. So there's a number of different Japanese maples.
Interesting.
And if it's a lace leaf maple, then you do not want to trim that back hard right now because it's very tender.
Okay.
Some of the other ones you can. The amount varies. Usually the rule of thumb is don't cut off more than a third.
Okay.
So if you go in and clean out dead branches and stuff, try not to do more than a third of the tree. But you can definitely do that. We do pruning even into winter. We'll do some pruning as well, cutting back things. In the fall, we may cut back shrubbery that's getting too tall. Some of your burning bushes and things like that.
Yeah.
We may take that way down, take it down to like 1 or 2 foot tall, and then let it regenerate in the spring.
Yeah. So that you probably then you're leafing closer to the ground instead of having all of the leaves.
It just brings it back in control. If you haven't touched your bushes all, for a couple of years, they get a little crazy. So and it's perfectly okay to do it. Don't go too far into the fall season to do this kind of stuff because you want to have a little hardening off period.
Yeah.
The other option is you can actually do it over winter. In the middle of winter, we could go out and do pruning. And we do a lot of that. Homeowners don't usually. So
I would have never thought that would be okay. My brain tells me that when a plant goes dormant,
Leave it
in the
alone.
winter to just not touch it because then it'll die.
Yep. No, it's an ideal time actually in the winter because the things are dormant inside, so we don't have a lot of activity inside of those branching. And there's no leaves, so we can see everything that's going on.
Right.
So we know exactly where we're cutting. Are we cutting, a very important branch, or is it okay to take this one down?
Yeah. You don't worry about if there are no leaves, then to me, I wouldn't cut it back because I don't know if it's a dead branch or a branch that's still alive, but you can still tell that for most
Well,
shrubs.
on the properties that we maintain, we're always on top of whether we have dead branching and stuff inside
Yeah.
there. So those are, so that's something you consider in the fall if you're a homeowner taking care of it yourself.
Yeah.
Get in there right now while there is leaves and get the stuff cleaned out that shouldn't be there. And then
Yeah.
know over winter, what can go and
Yeah.
what's already gone.
Yeah, and then in spring it will look unbelievable.
Right.
Sorry, there are so many puns that you can say with leaves. It's great. So you said that homeowners should get their leaves off, mow their grass really short, as short as they possibly can.
Well, no, you don't want
no,
to.
sorry.
Yep, don't scalp.
3 inches.
Yeah, don't scalp. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most lawnmowers, would they allow you to mow to a point that's dangerous for your grass?
It depends on what kind of hills and stuff you have.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you go too short, you got to kind of know your terrain.
Yeah.
So like I know our lawn at home, we can go down to about 3 inches, 2.75.
Okay.
Because we don't have a lot of terrain.
Yeah.
Now, there are some lawns that you might only be able to do 3.25 because at that point you start hitting your edges.
What's the one thing that would be the absolute worst thing for me to do to my yard?
To do to your yard?
Yeah. Yard landscaping.
Overall, the number one thing to do would be to ignore it when you're going to a drought season. I always say the best thing you can do for your lawn and your landscape beds is get an irrigation system in.
Interesting.
To get that
Yeah.
regular water will just keep those plants healthy.
Yeah. What do you do for somebody on Summit water that's like super crazy rusty? And
There are some additives they can do, and I don't know irrigation that well, but there are some units they can add to it to help with the rust in there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's super interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So-
the number one thing though. That would be my first investment in if I was doing a new house, new lawn,
Yeah.
new beds, I would
Yeah.
definitely have irrigation.
Is it super difficult to retrofit that to an existing house?
No.
No. Really easy. Okay.
No, it's amazing what they can do nowadays.
Yeah.
Seed on that right away.
Okay.
Right now's the time to be doing
Oh, really?
seed. Yes.
I was
now
gonna-
is,
yeah.
now is the perfect time. As a matter
Now
of
is the
fact,
perfect time to
yeah,
plant seed.
it will germinate within 7 to 10 days right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's super.
Oh, that's super encouraging.
We've got the cooler nights and the warmer days. So
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah,
what grass loves.
Yeah.
Let's add that to the list of things that homeowners can be doing.
Okay. Planting grass.
Overseeding, planting grass.
Okay. Yeah. So if I have nasty crabgrass, should I try and?
I would try and get rid of
Fertilize
that
that?
first.
Okay.
Now, most of your crabgrass, you're going to find the best benefit to treating it is in the spring. So,
Okay.
and that's the problem people are having this year is because we were all locked down
Right.
when it was time
Yeah.
to get out and get that
Mhm.
crabgrass control out. And
Mhm.
so, even the properties that we fertilize, we are seeing a ton of crabgrass. And the
Sure,
problem
yeah.
is, if we were to kill it all off,
Yeah.
you have big dead spots in your lawn right now.
Right.
If you
Yeah,
weren't-
because
if
it's
you weren't
spread all
ready to
over the place.
reseed. So.
Yeah. Yeah. The crabgrass in my lawn is probably one patch is probably as big as this table, at least half of the table here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I feel like I've learned a ton. I'm super like. I was like, I know a little bit about landscaping. I'll be able to inform the conversation a little bit. And no, I feel like I just learned.
Well,
a
you
ton.
bring the puns though to the table.
Right, yeah, yeah. That's what I am on the team.
Yeah.
If we were a football team, I would only play every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
Like
you
a
only bring in
punter.
the punter out on the
Yeah.
field every once in a while.
Right.
When things don't go well, that's when I come out. Yeah, you
You
can't
saved
see
the
it,
day.
but Carol is smiling. She appreciates my puns. By the way, Carol is here. I don't know if, anyway. I saved the day, I like that. I heard you, that's what I
Yeah.
said. What's the last thing? Anything else that you feel like you should, that I didn't ask you that we should know?
Not really. I think
Okay.
that immediately following this is you need to start thinking about your seasonal Christmas stuff. So
Yeah.
make sure that you have, and the snow and the ice.
Yeah.
So make sure you have salt ready on your front steps so that you can salt your front steps so
Mhm.
that your postman doesn't fall coming in.
Yeah.
Make sure you have salt ready for your driveway. Make sure your snow blower's in operation. Get it in right now because everybody's backed up. So if that needs
Yeah.
some service, take it right now to your dealership.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good advice. Thanks so much for coming in.
Of course.
Guys, you don't know this. I didn't tell her we were going to film this.
Yeah.
So, Tammy, thank you so much for joining me for a little bit of conversation. It was good to see you face to face. Tammy and I are in BNI together. So, I see her on a screen about once a week and get to hear a little bit, just very, very little bit about your business. But it was good to meet you face to face. Like, face to face is now over Zoom. So much of the time.
That's the whole thing. We've never talked in person.
No.
We've spoken in person until now.
Yeah.
It's all been Zoom.
Yeah, and I know a little bit of your story just from Zoom. Yeah, so now we zoomed into the same place and had a great conversation. So thanks so much. This was a weekly update with Ben and Tammy instead of John. This is John 2.0. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week, where I think we're giving a market update. Tell you what's going on in the real estate market, because things are always changing. I don't know if you knew that. Things are always changing.
Yeah. I used to be an agent, so yes.
Oh boy, that's great. We'll have to learn a little bit more about each other. Cool. All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, friends. See you next time.